road that has access to I-35. And there's, to get off for the intermodal, you would have had to gone to the Edgerton exit, other than coming through town, right? So, I mean, I understand changing the truck route from Madison to 167th, but what was the need for changing it from, you know, in the north-south exit and entry point for I-35? It's clearly to allow trucks servicing the intermodal to come through town, which, again, what is the benefit of that? To all those gold-colored houses that are within that area, I just don't, I guess I have a hard time understanding why people really want that.
Okay.
Well, again, I'm having to speculate to some degree because I just don't know the answer. But again, typically 1 mile increments, arterials, are what are designated as truck routes. That obviously gets you to the north part of Gardner on 1 mile increments for whatever reason.
Thanks, Larry. The second part of this discussion, I guess, is Center Street north of Main, 167th Street, and Moonlight north of Main. Is there anybody else that's interested in further discussion about eliminating those as truck routes for the city of Gardner?
I think that's a good idea. I'd be for that.
To eliminate those?
Yeah, those. I would just have 56 and south of 56 highway. Is that what we're talking about? Eliminating this little triangle or square?
Yeah. Well, that was my suggestion, but. And if it's only you and I, then it looks like we're probably interested in keeping the truck routes the same, but
well, I do
open it up.
Well, I do see that there's a bit of a concern. I'll be honest, I also have a concern about the south side of Maine, between the place where Center narrows to 2 lanes and the bridge over the tracks, because similar to 183rd west of Center, that's a 2-lane road, is highly crowned, and the sidewalks are substandard at best in that area. So it's the same situation on 167th as well, between Center and Moonlight. There's no sidewalks. It's a crowned road. It's got ditches on either side. Designating that as a truck route without appropriate pedestrian access down that road could cause problems. It's the same with that, as I said, with that section south of town on South Center Street. If there's a justification to examine removal of truck route status, to me that would be it. Because if pedestrians can't utilize those roads, and they're near subdivisions where there is significant foot traffic, then that could cause potentially some serious problems. So that's why it would be, and the same thing with parts of Center Street north of Maine as well. There's a lot of pedestrian traffic. The sidewalks are better in that area, but with the aquatic center right there, with children going back and forth from cars, parking lots in that area, with the county fair once a year that comes through here, with a lot of pedestrian traffic there as well, that begins to become a public safety issue, having those designated as truck areas.
So the park and the Casey's and the post office don't concern you, but the aquatic center and the library and the school.
What I'm saying, Larry, is that we have substantial provision for pedestrian traffic in that area. With the signalization of 183rd and Center, we'll be in a much better position to be able to regulate that. But we don't have those sidewalks. We don't have the width on the road and the graded area, with that crowned area on those 2-lane areas that necessarily satisfies me. And that's one of the reasons why I don't like the fact that 183rd west of Center could be used for trucks going to the intermodal. And one of the reasons why I had a problem last week at our work session when one of our presenters said that they wanted to put their traffic down that road. I have a real problem with that.
And why is that? I mean, I guess
it's a safety hazard.
A safety hazard on that road, but not Gardner Road?
It's not just a safety hazard to pedestrians, but it's also a safety hazard to the vehicles that use it.
I tend to see your connection there, Larry. My bigger concern on the road you're speaking to right there is, if you speak with anyone on that side of Public Works, they'll tell you that road won't last a year with truck traffic.
I agree.
That's where we need to be more concerned. I mean, is there
Mhm.
sidewalks? You can walk up and down that block until you get to edge of the city limits. So I'm not concerned from that side, but if we send trucks there, we're going to have to repave it, or we're going to have to completely rebuild it from scratch. So that's not part of our truck routes. I think that's worthy of discussion, but not from a safety aspect. I don't know that it's any more or less safe than the intersection that's just south of Main Street here with truck traffic. I think they're one and the same. But the impact to the road itself and how the road would be able to hold up is actually a significant concern, in how we couldn't accommodate that traffic the way it is right now.
So, but it's also a concern on Gardner Road. I mean, there's a lot more trucks that are going down Gardner Road.
But it's a
north-
major arterial that was rebuilt to handle that sort of traffic, unlike 183rd.
Is the construction of the road different on 183rd versus Gardner Road? I mean, is it
Oh,
thicker?
absolutely,
Thicker
Yeah.
asphalt?
yes.
Well, and won't the truck traffic diminish greatly on the south part of Gardner Road once Homestead opens? So
It should.
it should just be a little bit of time, hopefully, that we'll see maybe an increase of traffic until the exit opens.
But I think Steve's idea that you allow it as a truck route down to where it moves to 2 lanes without proper sidewalks on both sides of the road.
I think that you need to have we have to have a substantial provision for pedestrian access, especially given the fact that we have a school going in,
Yes.
right over there at Grand.
Where's there not sidewalks at? Fill me in. I feel like I've walked that a few times, but where are the
There's one
existing sidewalks?
north of Grand. There's one sidewalk on Center Street. It's on the east side of the street, and it's substandard. It is it's undulating. There's areas where the sidewalk is buckled. There's angles there. I know because I run that on occasion, and
Vegetation hanging down for
Vegetation.
tall guys
Right.
that are walking on that.
But and then we get into lane right issues, and who's in charge for cutting those limbs, and who's in charge for the undulating sidewalks? And we have to engage the property owners, so that changes the dynamic completely. That's really not the same issue as the truck route, in my opinion. That's property owners and asking them to enforce the way that they maintain the properties and their sidewalks. If the mud's settled, that's for them to jack. It's not for the city to come in and redo those sidewalks, unless we're doing a complete reconstruction of the streets, and that's part of our project scope. But I don't think anyone's entering into that kind of conversation right now.
In the end, trucks, I mean, I guess when you ask the question about whether anyone agrees with Tory's belief that they shouldn't go north, I mean, when you look at the picture, really, they shouldn't be anywhere within residential areas. The truck route is 56 Highway. There's really nowhere that trucks can't go north or south from on 56 Highway and get to their destination. It's a question of what are you inviting from I-35 north? And if you make I-35 to Main Street and even farther than Main Street, 267, not a truck route, you don't have to worry about all the other truck routes, right? I mean,
But you do have to worry about the traffic impact on 56
Right.
by our downtown businesses. I
And
don't
I've
want to shrug
actually-
that side of it off. That's
Yeah.
actually a critical issue, and the road maintenance and what the cost will be, because those 56 and the state contributes funds, they don't do 100% funding, so we have to come in with our percentage to maintain those roads. And if they're tied down because we've doubled the traffic there, because we won't allow 33% of the traffic to take Gordon Road, then that's going to create a budget issue on the already lengthy CIP list that we can't fund, and we're going to add to that by restricting it.
whatever algorithm you use to determine what truck routes should be consistent. So if they are allowable on Gardner Road, then I guess it's an all or none, it seems like an all or none proposition. But I don't think they should be going through any residential areas for no benefit to the citizens of this town.
I really think it's something that we're going to have to come back at in 5 years and analyze again, because we'll have a better idea of where the traffic patterns are. We'll understand where they're going to go, and we're going to understand if they are making an undue use of some of the roads that they shouldn't have, then we'll be able to plan accordingly. Right now, we're projecting where we think it's gonna go, but if we're all or none, then I'm